Hey everyone, happy Saturday, Sunday, wherever you are in the world. I am coming on to Facebook Live today to talk to you about managing clients' expectations, managing your bride's expectations, and what they kind of expect from you as a bridal stylist, and how we can look at the things that they're wanting from us and try and maybe bring them back down to earth and be a bit more realistic about what they want. So before I get started, let me introduce myself. My name is Dawn Rose. I am by day a hairstylist and makeup artist, bridal specialist, and by night I try and help other hair and makeup artists start and grow their business in hair and makeup, but using this wonderful world that is the wedding industry, so that you guys can attract clients, retain brides as clients, even though brides get married once, and then start creating a consistent income in your hair and makeup business. And if you like what I'm talking about today, then I would love it if you would share this out with your friends and fans and followers over Facebook. And I would also love for you to give me the thumbs up and the hearts if you like what I'm saying. That also applies to those of you lovelies that are watching me on the replay. And if you are watching me on the replay, thank you so much. I hope that this video is of some use to you as well. So I want to share with you a few thoughts I've got over brides and their expectations, and then just give you a few tips on how to sort of manage those expectations, because I think really I feel like with brides, they don't so much have an expectation. An expectation is a strong belief that something's going to happen, right? So an expectation is something that they really truly believe is going to happen. And for a bride, I feel like it's probably more about expected value. It's what they perceive that you're going to give to them for their money, basically. I mean, everything does come down to money a lot of the time on, wedding day. Weddings are an expensive process. So I think that with a bride, it tends to be very much expected value, and it's probably more about managing that value that's perceived by your brides, and obviously knowing your ideal client and the things that they would look for in a stylist, hairdresser, makeup artist. That's going to go, a long way into knowing what it is that they're expecting from you. But also you've got to think about what you should expect from them as well, because I've said before that we want to choose brides and clients, and we want to choose our target market quite carefully, because we want to work with the people that we want to work with. We don't want to work with people that are going to be hard and difficult, and that we're not ever going to meet their expectations or their needs, because it doesn't steer us down the right path, and it doesn't take for a very good business. So I think expected value is something that you really need to consider when it comes to your brides. Now, I think the first thing that you can do is start with your terms and conditions or frequently asked questions. It's kind of like that first touch point. So a bride comes, they browse onto your website, and they're thinking, right, do they travel? What do I have to do? What do I do in my trial? Do I do a trial? How far out can I have my trial? What do they need me to bring with me? Those kind of things. They're all kind of like the expectations of the bride. They're not sure what you expect from them. So having some kind of terms and conditions, having some kind of frequently asked questions on your website is a really great first point, because if they want you to travel and they're looking at your website and they're thinking, well, let's go and see if they travel, and you say no, they're not gonna, and you're saying you're not going to travel, and they need a bridal stylist that's mobile, well, then they're not going to inquire with you. So it filters them out straight away. I mean, if that saves you time, it saves them time for them not to even bother applying to you guys for a quote. So think about the things that a bride could ask. Think about the things that they perhaps want to know, and then just put them in some kind of document or that you can upload onto your website, or just have a page on your website for frequently asked questions, or terms and conditions that perhaps you can send them. And I kind of like to have the two opportunities. I like them to be able to read them on my website, but I also like them to be able to download it. I also like to send them that with their quotes. So when they do come to me, I'm hoping that they've come through my website and that they've already had a look at my frequently asked questions, my terms and conditions of service, but I want to give them a second opportunity, and I have it as an attachment that I also then send out with their quotes. So That's one of the first ways that you can manage that part of their experience with you. The second point will be obviously with their contract, because you need to be able to go through the contract with them at your consultations. And I said to you before, I think it's a really good idea to try and do a face-to-face consultation with all your brides. I reckon you'll book them so much easier when you're doing it in person than you will over the phone or even over Skype. But those are other options if you can't actually meet them in person. But I think that you'll find that the more brides that you meet in person and go through those contracts with them, you'll book them straight away, because you're getting to know them, they're getting to know you, and they're more than likely to sign on the dot, rather than send them an email with their contract, let them look over it, and then decide whether they're going to sign it or not. It makes things a lot longer, a lot more of a drawn out process, and then you get into that point of having to chase them, and then you become a bit pushy in a way, because you're thinking, well, there's a deadline on that, I'm only keeping this date open for 24 or 48 hours for them to return that contract, and then you're chasing them for the contract, and you're saying, I'm going to release the date, etc., etc., and then they're like, they're not ready to make a decision. Whereas a lot of the times, just being there, talking to the bride, I definitely found, I used to do bridal flowers. I've mentioned this before in a broadcast, that I used to do bridal flowers, and because I did flowers, they would book me for flowers, hair and makeup, and I always used to make them come to my studio and talk to me about their flowers and go through the books and talk to me about their colours they wanted. I booked them every time. When I stopped doing the flowers, because it became a lot to do flowers, hair and makeup, I dropped back the flowers for a while and was just doing full-on hair and makeup every weekend for brides. When I stopped doing the flowers, I stopped my consultations in person, and I used to just do things via phone or via email, and I stopped picking up the brides. Not a lot, but I wasn't, it was harder. It was harder to pin them down, it was harder to get them to pay their deposits, and it was so much back and forth. Whereas as soon as it was kind of like, it was a bit lazy on my part, because I thought, oh, I don't need them to come to the studio anymore, I don't need them to choose their flowers, I'm not going to book in a consultation, I'll just do it over the email. It was the worst mistake I made, because it meant that I was chasing brides and having to put pressure on them, and I wasn't booking them. And then the minute I went back to going, come down and see me at my studio for a consultation, I know some of you may not have the opportunity to have a studio like I did, but you can meet them in a coffee shop or something, say, I'd love to catch up with you, do you have a spare half an hour free, during the week or in the evening, that we could just catch up at Starbucks and let's have a quick chat about your wedding hair and makeup and what you're after. I'm telling you, by being there and having a consultation with your bride, going through your expectations, going through your terms and conditions, and going through your contracts, you'll book them every time. So I highly recommend that you do that. But you definitely need to have those expectations laid out very, very clearly in your contracts. Guys, I've got a very mini course. It's a 5-day course. If you need help with your contracts, then let me know. There is a link over in the on the creatingbridalperfection.com blog, but if you need help with your contracts, let me know. I've got like a mini course that just takes you through doing the basic of contracts, just to get you guys started. Okay, the third place to manage expectations is going to be your trials. Brides do come to us with some really unrealistic things, and unrealistic looks, unrealistic hairstyles for what they have naturally, right? So they come with the whole massive hair high up in a bun, and you're thinking, well, it's hair like mine, and it's thin, and it's fine, and you're thinking, where am I going to get all this hair from? So again, they look at magazines and they look at photos, and it's all about managing that expectation there. So having a really, really good discussion at consultation to begin with, but then at the trial, and really talking to them and really getting to know them about what it is that they're after, what it is that they want for their wedding. I always ask them to give me 2 or 3 pictures that are similar to each other but not the same, so that we can try and find a median in between those 3 styles. So think about that at your trials. Trials are going to be really, one of those key areas where you can really talk to your brides about what they expect on wedding day, and then also what you expect from them, what you expect with the bridesmaids to do, how you expect them to have their hair. The fact, I always tell them they have to have their hair washed and dried, and if they've got mousse, I try and get them to purchase a mousse from me. I tell them that if they've got really, really tight curly hair, sometimes I ask them to blow it out the night before and just sleep on it, so then I can put a bigger wave or a bigger curl in it. Time is of the essence on wedding day. You've heard me say that plenty of times before, and for those of you that are more experienced, you'll know that wedding day flies by so quickly. So again, it's really important to manage the expectations of the bride on those days. And also, you know, sometimes you find that the bride will say, oh, 8:30, why do I have to get up at 8:30? I'm like, well, you know, it's going to take an hour per person to do your hair, an hour per person to do your makeup, and then, you know, sometimes people are late. You know, we have to factor in all these eventualities of something happening on wedding day, and we need to make sure that that bride leaves on time. So again, it's about really discussing the wedding day with your bride, talking to them, sharing with them your thoughts and your experiences without sort of coming across too know-it-all. But definitely managing that expectation for wedding day is going to be really, really key on the day of the trial. So I've got a couple of tips before I go, just to give you a few ideas of what you can do to help manage those expectations. And it's all really going to come down to communication. It's all going to come down to talking, emailing, messaging your bride, and you know, keeping them informed all the time. So my first tip would be is just to make sure that you always follow up or you follow through, and that can be in the form of just general communication with automation in your business. Maybe every bride that signs up to you as a bride, you put them into your automation, and they every month or every 3 weeks or so, they get an email from you just that you've already pre-set up saying, you know, here's a few tips on wedding day. Have you thought about this? Have you thought about that? We hope you're coming along well. This can be automation. So basically by automation, I'm saying that this can be something that you set up way in advance. You put them into this email list, and it automatically sends them these emails. So the same email goes out to every bride. It's a really good way of keeping in communication with those brides that perhaps are a year out. They're booking you a year out from their wedding. So the other way of doing that obviously is going to be through text as well. If you want to send the bride text messages, I think email to begin with is a good idea, but when you're getting closer to the date, I think using text messaging is great. I always find as well that I like the bride to text me the address of where I'm going to on wedding day, and the reason why I do that is so that I've always got it on my phone in front of me, and I'm not trying to scroll through emails to work out, oh gosh, what was the address that she gave me again. I always send them a message to say, please just confirm with me one more time the address that we're attending on wedding day, and get them to text that through. Sorry guys, I'm not sure if you could hear. The reason why I haven't been on for a few days is because I've got a really bad cold. So I'm just kind of getting through it today. Okay, my number two tip is Pinterest boards. I love Pinterest for my brides. I've been starting to set up Pinterest boards for my brides for the last couple of years, and they love it too, and they can just dump ideas for their bridesmaids and themselves in the Pinterest boards. And it means as well that before they come to the trial, I kind of know already the sort of styles that they're looking at, and I can already be prepared in my head to manage the expectation of what it is that they're after and what it is that I can realistically achieve. So Pinterest boards are a great way to have a shared thing. I also get them to share it with their bridesmaids as well. I tell them, you know, share this with your bridesmaids, guys. Get them to give me ideas for the makeup as well, if you're letting them have some kind of choice, which I do find a lot of the time over here in Australia, the brides are giving a lot more back to the bridesmaids, and they're allowing them to pick their hairstyles and allowing them to pick their makeup styles, which I think is really great. You know, sort of within reason, and generally speaking, the bridesmaids will kind of club together and say, this is the kind of look that we're going for. So I wouldn't say that they're more individual, but they're certainly more the brides are more flexible with kind of the looks, and they're kind of, you know, letting the maids of honor and the bridesmaids decide that. Okay, number 3 is put everything in writing. Okay, that's really important. So whenever you're having a discussion with your bride, whenever you're just talking with them over the phone, just confirm it via email. Put everything in writing to avoid any ambiguity and any you know, accidents that may occur. Just put everything down in writing, and then nothing can go wrong that way. And just keep reiterating. Make sure even when you're talking to your brides, you're letting them talk, and then you're repeating what it is that you're understanding that they're saying. So that's another way of, you know, just keeping that communication going. Okay, number 4, under promise and over deliver. So when I say under promise, over deliver, obviously, again, it's all about expected value. So make sure that you have to always make sure that you're meeting that expectations of your brides, but then do something a little extra. I always have these little bridal kits that I have. I call them my bridal SOS kits. They are literally, I've gone to the dollar shops. This is not spending a fortune. I'm not trying to take away from my profits, but what I am doing is securing a referral from it. And what I do is I get little tiny muslin type bags or netting type bags, maybe pretty coloured ones, whatever's on special at the time. And inside it I put in a few hairpins, I put in a few band-aids, plasters, safety pins. What else do I put in? And sometimes I've found in the cheap shops, like sometimes the nail varnishes go on special, and they're like Maybelline, so they're a decent brand, a high street brand, and they're about $1. and then normally I look for all the neutral colours, you know, the coppers or the browns or the beiges, you know, the pretty colours that are fairly natural, and then I pop those in there, and you just give them a little gift, a little kit, cotton pads, cotton buds. And just set them up a little, what I call my SOS kit. So it's for, you know, if someone gets a blister, they've got a band-aid. You know, if somebody's you know, mascara runs a little bit, they've got a cotton bud just to rub it. If somebody feels like they're getting a little bit shiny, they've got a wipe just to dab. Tissues are another good one. So again, I will go to the dollar shops, or we've got Daiso, they call it here, and it's like $2.80 for everything. You can get packs of like tissues and packs of cotton pads and things like that, and I just think they're amazing things that like makeup artists and stuff use all the time. Obviously bobby pins for your hair. Sometimes I can even find hairsprays, like little mini hairsprays are about this big, and they're costing me like 2 for $1. So think about something a little bit extra that you can give to your bride, and I just think that's really nice to turn up to bride and give all your little bridal parties a little gift. Any of those that are having hair and makeup with you, they get a gift. So under promise but over deliver. Okay, and my 5th thing is be honest. Be honest with your brides and make sure that they're honest with you. If they don't like something, or if you don't like something, just say it. Talk to them about it. If they don't like their look, they need to tell you. They need to tell you at the trial. I have a policy that basically says that if they are really unhappy with their trial, that they need to first of all give me a second chance. I'm not just going to give them their money back. There are what I call the free ride brides out there. And any of you that have taken boot camp, which again is a link above, if any of you have taken boot camp, you'll know I've talked about the free ride bride, the brides that come in and they're basically taking advantage of you and advantage of your special offers, and your free trials or your half price trials, and they're just really there to get a makeup look done, and then they're looking for their money back. I have got policies in place to stop that happening, and believe me, I've been there, it's happened to me, but I have put policies in place now so that can't happen again. And so just make sure that they're honest, and if they are honest, try and talk to them about what it is that they're expecting from you, what it is that they want you to change, what it is that they are feeling is not quite right. But they should give you the chance to rectify those mistakes should anything go wrong. So just make sure that you're honest, make sure that they're honest, and just, you know, as I said, go through those things. So it was follow up, follow through, using text and email, use Pinterest boards, put everything in writing, under promise and over deliver, and be honest. So they're the 5 kind of tips I've got for managing those expectations. All right, guys, I will be with you again next week for a couple more tips and tricks on building your bridal business. I hope that you have a wonderful weekend, and I am going to be doing Q&A in my Facebook group. I have a private Facebook group that you guys are welcome to join. If any of you go over to the website, creatingbrideperfection.com, or if you join my bootcamp, you can absolutely join us over in the group, and I'd love to see you guys there. There'll be a big webinar coming up soon on automation and optimization of your website, so look out for that, and have a great week, guys. I'll see you next week. Bye for now.